Eric Brenner here, Breaking News, Los Angeles. We're here with Quinta City Councilman Steve Sanchez. He's a Republican. We're glad to have you here on the show. Talk to me about Proposition 50. We've got a real problem here with Barack Obama now doing these commercials.
Right.
What's the likelihood that we can get a guy like Schwarzenegger not only to do the commercials, but to raise some real money? And are we having trouble raising money? No.
Well, Californians in general are always outnumbered, either by people or fundraising-wise, right? But not message-wise. People really grasped towards our... I mean, look at the last election, right? People saw, hey, you know what? I think California's a little wacko right now, and maybe they've gone a little too far. And I'm hoping that the voters of California realize Prop 50 is not really what it's being pitched as, right? And this is really the state legislature saying, we don't care what the voters think. We're going to undo, mind you, 2 propositions that the voters passed, saying that we're taking this power away from the legislators and putting it in the hands of the people with the voting redistricting commission. We want to undo that, is what Sacramento is saying. We don't care what you're saying. We're going to undo that. And that's what Prop 50 is. It's Sacramento undoing the will of the voters.
So do we have a chance, though?
We have a chance.
In terms of raising money and getting guys like Schwarzenegger involved. I know he already said yes.
He already said yes.
Is he doing commercials for us?
He needs to be. And if the governor, if he listens to the Quinta City Councilman, Steve Sanchez,
all right.
Former Governor Schwarzenegger, make a commercial. Let the people know where you stand via commercial. Help us out a little bit more. But vote no on 50. I mean, it's not what it's being pitched as, right? It's smoke and mirrors. Think about it.
You made a good point about the Texas Constitution being completely different than the California Constitution, so it's completely unfair to use that argument.
Absolutely.
Go into that more.
Right.
Why are you saying that?
Texas law and not just Texas law, the voters, the residents of Texas are okay with their law. Otherwise, they got to change it, right? And here's the thing. I don't live in Texas, but I do live in California. And California Constitution, mind you, again, the voters enshrined in our Constitution twice that they are taking away the power of the legislators to pick their politicians. They want voters to pick their politicians. That's the way it should be. And this sets a dangerous precedent, because if the legislators can get away with undoing the will of the voters with their own ballot initiative, right, then what's the point of having citizen voices with the ballot? If the citizens didn't like their own decisions at the ballot, they would have gone back to the ballot and said, you know what, let's undo what we did. Let's put the power back in the hands of the politicians to pick their own voters. But they didn't do that, right? Otherwise, you'd have folks like myself and yourself saying, yeah, we want politicians to have more power. And we don't want to pick our politicians, right?
So that's not what we're saying. What would the map look like for Republicans if Newsom gets his way on November?
I would encourage people to look, but it's going to lump us in with folks like closer to the L.A. coastal area. That doesn't make sense.
Unbelievable.
What does a desert city have in common with a ocean city? It's the complete opposite, right? I mean, if anything, we should be more lumped in with Yucca Valley, Needles, people like that, other desert communities.
Yes.
And I have nothing against the people on the coast, right? But their needs and wants, their issues are not the same as ours. And I think if people really sat down and looked at what the district maps look like, they would scratch their head and said, this doesn't make sense.
Now, you mentioned when I was asking questions, final question, thank you, that you're supporting Chad Bianco, who I think is a great guy. He's kind of the dark horse in this race. Steve Hilton polling very well. What's the likelihood, you think, if Rick Caruso gets in on the Democratic side? Obviously, he's a guy that everybody could like and get behind. How would you feel about that? Would you ask Bianco to drop out if Caruso gets in?
No, I wouldn't ask.
You would not?
I would. And Bianco probably wouldn't even drop out. Right?
Okay, I'm just asking.
His heart is in this thing. He's one.
You got to get South guys like Villagrosa, who's endorsed by Karen Bass. I don't know why you'd want Karen Bass's endorsement.
Right. I mean, look at L.A. the way it turned out, right?
The worst. All right, Steve Sanchez, the Republican from the La Quinta City Council. Thanks for joining us today on Breaking News Los Angeles. And vote no on Proposition 50. Thank you, sir. Thank you, brother. All right, man.
I like you.
Thank you.